Tell us what your thoughts are about the consolidation of ad tech, particularly on the sell side.
Sure. Well, I think the consolidation on the sell side is a natural outgrowth of some of the developments we've seen in the space over the past few years, especially the move to unified ad auctions when it comes to display inventory have meant that it's harder and harder for sell-side partners to offer differentiated supply. And so given that context, it makes a lot of sense for there to be consolidation. So then the next question is, well, how do we make decisions about who to consolidate with? At least that's the next question that comes to my mind. And there it's really, how can we deliver the maximum client value? And there are a number of ways that can materialize. So one could be commercial benefits that we can pass on to our clients. Like, for example, if we scale a certain amount with a supply partner, does that reduce the ad tech tax that our clients have to pay? Or it could be new transactional models, like new discount mechanisms that give us an edge in the ad auction. Or it could be something like an improvement to the quality of the inventory that we have the opportunity to buy. So those are the things that we look at when deciding where to place our bets.
So tell us about the work you're doing with PubMatic.
It's been a lot of fun working with PubMatic, actually. We've been discussing a variety of arrangements. I think my favorite one, being a big auction nerd, specifically meaning like how does the ad auction function, how has it evolved over the years? I've done a lot of work on that. We've been working with them on a new type of discount mechanism that doesn't require the breaking of the ad auction system. Ad auctions are great because they do a good job of making sure the market clears in a healthy way. Basically, prices rise and fall in real time, so there's a good balance between supply and demand. So you avoid a shortage phenomenon, which is what happens when prices are fixed too low, and you avoid a glut phenomenon, which is what happens when prices are fixed too high. So that's the great thing about auctions. The problem with auctions for advertisers is that historically it's been difficult for them to secure a rate benefit in auction-based environments, because there's kind of a tension between those two elements, right? Like, if you want to allow the price to float dynamically, it can be difficult to also confer a rate advantage to one particular player in the system without breaking the whole equilibrium. And so we've been working on a new transactional model with the guys here at PubMatic that allows us to have the best of both worlds, where we're able to play in a programmatic ad auction, but in the settlement process for the auction, we're able to give a discount to our clients. And that's being granted by the publisher and something we negotiate with them. But in order for that sort of discount mechanism to work, we need to have good partners, like the folks here at PubMatic, with whom we've been working to pilot this.
Ben, tell us about the buy side, your clients, their expectations, what they expect out of this sort of programmatic scenario, and how that's changing, perhaps.
Yes, well, I think something that's come to light in recent years, one is the ad tech tax. It's what we call the portion of the value chain that's captured by intermediaries, and the portion that's not going to working media. So that could be your DSP fee, that could be a combination of like managed service fees and self-service fees, depending on how a client is buying programmatically. It also includes sell-side fees, like those charged by a PubMatic. It includes data fees. Historically, it's also included undisclosed fees, and that has rightfully gotten some clients upset. So there's a lot of work underway right now by our clients to ascertain how much of the value chain is being captured by intermediaries. And then taking an exploded view of that, looking at each piece in isolation to determine what's actually adding value as opposed to what's just free riding and piggybacking on their media spend. I think another area that's gotten an increasing amount of attention from clients separate from that is the whole area of brand safety and context. And that's an area where our clients have increasingly been focused, and we've actually been leading the charge there. OMG has a standard site and app whitelist that we make sure are applied to all of our buys to make sure that our clients are never in a situation where they end up on the front page of Ad Age or Digiday for running next to garbage or something that's inappropriate.
What are the clients' kind of objectives? What kinds of advertisers are activating through programmatic, and are they activating in a kind of an open bidded scenario or a private marketplace scenario?
Yeah, that's a great question. It covers a lot of ground. So I'll start with the first part. What types of advertisers are playing in the programmatic space? All advertisers, all varieties of advertisers are playing in programmatic. And I think going back to my earlier point about changes in the programmatic marketplace, as the auction system has evolved, it's become commercially beneficial for publishers to expose more and more of their inventory programmatically, right? It's not yield negative the way it might have been in the past. And so with so much more inventory coming on stream for programmatic access, it makes sense for a wider and wider swath of advertisers to tap into inventory programmatically. I forget who coined this within Omnicom, but it's programmatic is the how, not the what, right? It doesn't necessarily limit what you're able to buy the way it used to. Over the years, PMPs were developed as a way to give advertisers both a rate advantage and also confidence that they were buying from who they thought they were buying from. I mean, if you think about when PMPs came to market and started seeing a lot of uptake in like 2013, 2014, that was a time that was pre-ads.txt, which is now a mechanism that we use to ensure that we're buying from authorized sellers and that it's actually the inventory that we intend to buy. So back then, when these tools were introduced, it conferred a huge advantage in terms of confidence that you were buying what you thought you were buying. And because of the way this inventory was being priced and sold through a waterfall system, not a unified auction, it could easily confer a rate advantage to advertisers. And so in that period, over the last 5-6 years, Omnicom clients have been spending more and more on PMPs. I think the challenge for PMPs now, in a world with ads.txt and unified auctions, for agencies and advertisers to make sure that they're still getting a unique value out of these PMP arrangements. That's why the enterprise partnerships team at Omnicom devotes a lot of effort to ascertaining what exactly is the hard benefit that's being delivered by PMPs, and where we're not seeing it being delivered to us by a publisher arrangement, we'll go back and renegotiate it or examine other approaches that we might take.
Cool. And finally, some observations about where the industry might be going, where you hope it'll be going next 6-12 months.
Yeah, so hitting on the same theme of more and more inventory being accessible programmatically and coming on stream. Something that I mentioned being a cause for that was the move to header bidding and unified auctions for display inventory. And what I'm really excited about when I talk to our various supply partners, including PubMatic, is there seems to be kind of a consensus that by end of 2020, beginning of 2021, the vast majority of video inventory that's accessible programmatically will move into a unified auction format. It's not necessarily going to be called header bidding, but the point is that all demand is being aggregated instantaneously into one auction. And as I mentioned earlier, that really improves the yield mechanics for publishers, which means that it benefits them commercially to expose all this inventory programmatically. So I think that's going to be a huge shift, and it's going to have major implications for how we negotiate these PMP deals, for example, and what the overall shape of the industry looks like. And I'm optimistic that it'll drive investment further away from your old school digital insertion orders and even more volume into programmatic.